Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy John, aka Speros here. In today's YouTube video, we're going to be going over not only the top must change settings before you load into MW3, but also the graphic settings that you should be running in order to have the game not only run smoothly and get you the highest refresh rate, but also make it look incredible. Anyway, before we get into all that, if you guys enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more in the future, go ahead, drop a like, subscribe if you guys are brand new around here. And without further ado, let's get into the settings. The first setting that you're going to want to change, especially if you're struggling with aim assist, is going to be your aim assist type. Changing it from standard to black ops actually increases the aim assist, or at least in my experience, it increases the aim assist. And then if you want to get that OG MW 2019 movement on controller, in the gameplay tab, go down to the slide/dive behavior and go ahead and set that to be slide only. It's going to make your slide cancel super fast and make it super smooth. Now getting into the graphics settings, this is going to be a PC only kind of graphics settings. Not only is this going to get you great frames, but this is kind of a balance, makes the game look good. If for some reason you're noticing lower frame rate, feel free to go ahead and change any of these settings and lower them. Obviously, lowering settings is going to obviously increase your frame rate. If you raise any settings, it's going to decrease your frame rate. So keep that in mind. Getting into this, you want to make sure that your screen refresh rate matches basically what your monitor is able to do. Mine is a 240 hertz monitor, so I'm gonna have it set at 240. My display resolution, I play at 1440. If you're having trouble with stuff loading in the game, restart the shader preloading. My brightness, I leave at default. The NVIDIA Reflex low latency, I play on plus boost. However, a lot of people do recommend just playing on. Coming down, two crucial settings to have turned off is gonna be VSync in the gameplay and in the menus. Custom frame rate, you can cap this to however you want, or you can set it to unlimited. I like to cap my gameplay frame rate to my monitor's refresh rate, which is 240 hertz, so 240. My menu, it's all personal preference. I just cap my menu frame rate at something under 100. It could be any number that you want. And then out of focus, I just leave at 30. Moving on, HDR, you want to make sure you have this turned off and focus mode set to 0. Getting over to the quality, this is where the frame rates are really going to be affected a lot. If you guys are having any quality issues or graphical issues, go ahead and make sure that your render resolution is at 100. Dynamic resolution, you want that turned off. If you want your game to look super crisp, super clean, and just overall like going from 480p to 1080p or even 4K, if you want your game to look good in the best possible, go ahead, go to upscaling and sharpening. This will not only make your game look better, but it'll be easier to see people at distance. Go to the fidelity, CAS, and then when you click square, I have mine set to 100. Now, if you don't like the way the game looks or it's too sharp, basically this is sharpening. If it's too sharp, go ahead and lower this down to like by 20 each time until you get it somewhere you like it. I like it at 100. Obviously, you want your VRAM scale target at 80. The variable rate shading I have is on. Texture resolution, again, I like my game to look good, so I have this on high. The texture filter I have on normal. Depth of field on off. Detail quality on high. The particle resolution is on very low. Bullet impacts are on. Persistent effects are off. Shader quality, again, I like it on high just because I like having my game look really good. This is one of those things that you can turn down and you'll definitely go ahead and gain some frames back if you're having trouble with frames. Getting to the on-demand texture streaming, this is a setting that I do recommend turning off if you're having trouble with frames. But if you're not and you want your camos in particular to look better, this is how you get your camos to look sharper and not kind of low quality. When you turn this on and then you take the allocated texture cache size, if it looks blurry at 32, you can go ahead and bump it up to 40. 32 is usually where I have mine set. Again, this is going to make your camos look insane on PC, I promise. The local texture streaming quality, I have it on low. Shadow quality you want on low, obviously. Screen space shadows, ambient occlusion, screen space reflections are all off. Getting down to the static reflection quality, the lowest preset you can go is low, so you're going to want to have that on low. Tessellation is going to be near. Terrain memory is going to be max. Again, this is going to make the map just look a little bit better. Obviously, you are sacrificing some frames here, but if it's worth it to you to have kind of better quality experience, go ahead. I have it on max. You can turn it on whatever you want. Volumetric low. These two are off, and then water quality is just wave wetness. Getting into the view, these are very important must change settings. Field of view for multiplayer, I do recommend playing anywhere from 100 to 105. It just seems to be the sweet spot where you get the best aim assist. It seems to help with your centering, and the characters seem to be a little bit larger on screen. But I obviously mostly play Warzone, so for me, I'm used to playing at 120, and when I do play Warzone again with the integration on December 5th, I'm gonna go ahead and play 120, so I'm leaving that there. So 120 FOV, make sure that you change your FOV. And then when you do change it, it's very important if you want to have less visual recoil to change it to affected. And then when you can change it to wide, because this will zoom you out just a little bit more. So you have a little less visual recoil. These two settings are not that important unless you play third person in the vehicle field of view. Obviously, just a little less shake on the screen if you set it to wide. World motion blur, all of this you want to set to be the lowest that you can. So off, 0, least, third person ADS transition. Again, unless you're playing third person, it doesn't matter. I don't like the inverted flashbang because it makes me feel like my monitor's turning off at random times. And the spectator camera, obviously you set that to whatever you want. I prefer to spectate in the game perspective rather than over the shoulder or the helmet cam. Anyway, these are settings you guys should be rocking. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you guys are brand new around here. And without further ado, guys, I'll catch y'all in the next one.